Hi. In this episode, I am reading out from a text which was submitted to a team from DST who were in Trivandrum in 2017 February on their mission to get the grassroots level opinion from, of course, about higher education, university education in India in the field of science. This meeting was organized in the conference hall of the State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. And so happened that I was added to the group to deliberate on the aspects of environmental science, education, research, and so on in India. Say from 2035 or a vision 2035. That means, by 2035, what we shall be like. That is the point of deliberation. But however, I had some idea of, that I gathered about what shall be the style of makeup of high school, college and university education in India from the exposure I had from reading, learning and thinking about it. So this is what I wrote. TV 2035 or Technology Vision 2035 needs to ponder deeply into the facets of education. As far as the state of Kerala is concerned, the kindergarten between the 3 and 5 years of age, elementary 5 and 10, high school 10 and 15, high school is 10 to 15, and then higher secondary 15 to 17 years of age, and finally leading to a 3-year tertiary or college education. However, PG continues to be 2-year long, while the PhD will take anywhere between 3 to 5 years before submission and award of a degree finally. Though from several quarters, complaints about falling standards in the arena of primary to tertiary education have been raised time and again. As an answer, only revision of syllabus content and by adding new topics, new themes, etc. were the immediate answers available with our educators. There has been alongside attempts to revise the qualification of teachers at all levels, as well as requiring retraining of teachers in the tertiary education sector by making mandatory attendance and involvement in the refresher and orientation courses through the academic staff colleges attached to the various universities in the nation. Yet, overall quality of tertiary education stands appallingly at a low level. What is the present scheme I have in mind? I am structured it like this. A 3-year-long degree education devised to substitute 2-year-long education leading to bachelor's degree and was implemented in the mid-60s in the state of Trivandrum, Cochin, and now which continues through the state of Kerala. In other words, a 2-year degree or bachelor's degree is now currently a 3-year bachelor's degree. This is the major revision that was implemented in the early part of, in the late 50s in the state of Kerala. Currently, what we follow here in Kerala and is not different from the rest of the colleges and what is followed in the rest of the colleges and the universities in the country. And all those reforms, structural changes had been or were implemented in the 60s and it stays just like that. However, there had been some kind of modification in the evaluation, grading system, etc., etc. In other words, by introduction of courses and also by introduction of grades alongside the scores, letter grades as well as numerical scores for the courses. Currently, what we kind of follow in Kerala is not different from the rest of the universities and colleges in the country. And though the MPhil program is continuing still, but there is obviously no job, well, where MPhil is the minimum qualification. So it is high time that this MPhil program is scrapped or eliminated. It happened in the late 70s or early 80s as a stepping stone for the teachers in the colleges to earn the next grade than from the entry level of lecturer's grade. Well, now the entire scheme of upgrading a lecturer to a professor or assistant professor or an assistant professor to professor or principal has all undergone sea change. Still, the MPhil degree is continued by the colleges and universities in the state and probably in the whole country also, and it is with much more vigor that this course is offered, because there is only face-to-face teaching in the first semester or first term of the course. In the second term, it is something about seminars, etc., etc. And then the course will end with what is called a research thesis. A thesis leading to the MSc MPhil degree. I equate the offer of global quality higher education to the eligible and academically ready youth of this country today as a vital investment for the future of the nation. It is like a direct investment for the next generation in India, or a sort of foreign direct investment now practiced in other sectors of the economy. My proposals are something like this. As an academic and involved with the higher education or university education for nearly 4 decades, I hold the view that revision of the structure and in the tertiary education system of the state and of the country is an imperative now. India can emulate an example of the next door neighbor like China, or Asian powerhouse like China, or even Singapore. Secondly, after a private visit to US in 1977, Deng Xiaoping, the supreme leader of China, who succeeded Chairman Mao, introduced vast structural and qualitative reforms in the tertiary education sector in the Chinese Republic. And the tertiary education is actually uses a big filter, which is actually to test the aptitude of the students who would want to pursue with the tertiary education. And this screening test, unless the candidate gets a desirable score in the screening test, he cannot be admitted to a college. I therefore propose that while we implement the 4-year bachelor's degree program like China did in the colleges in India, in order to achieve at least part of the goals of the Technology Vision 35 in the education sector. Secondly, there can be a proviso for those seeking clerical desk jobs to earn an associate degree at the end of the second year of the 4-year program. And at the end of the second year, they can get some kind of a certification and get out of the stream, rest of the students in the stream who would have an aspiration, who would aspire for a PhD degree in this chosen subject or a master's degree in the chosen subject. Further, it is another important thing the nation should do, the country should do, and this committee should do, that under the TV35 program is merging of botany and zoology into biological sciences. Unfortunately, this was some kind of a mistake, a Himalayan, quote unquote, Himalayan blunder that happened in the sector of higher education, where a single life science subject was divided into botany on the one hand and zoology on the other. And they are actually, by doing that, we have stymied the growth of the intellect of the really smart students coming into the biology stream or life science stream. By this partition, we have actually not only stymied, we have actually killed the inquisitiveness of the young mind. So it is high time that we remove from the Indian education scene this kind of bipartisan, dichotomy, not bipartisan thing, but a dichotomy of having a botany on the one hand and a zoology on a core subject on the other. It has to be combined into what is called biological sciences or life sciences. Well, this is the thought that I had in mind. I hope the committee, the reps coming from Delhi, DST, will take into account my suggestions also while finalizing their final report on the Technology Vision 2035 for the country.